I'm back again, like I never left. Greetings in Jesus' name. I'm sitting down, man. I'm in here washing dishes. My back hurt in that weather. Cleaning these dishes, but I wanted to mention that. Let me just reiterate and say it again. Y'all know I was incarcerated for 21 years. Actually, I was incarcerated for 21 years, 2 months, and 22 days as a first offender in the state of Louisiana for manslaughter. And my cousin ran across my mind. My first cousin on my dad's side, man, my cousin Will. And I be tripping out off, not really tripping out. It don't amaze me. I mean, I understand. You know, I know him, even though we've been away for some years. But the way his mind operates, the way he think, the things he does, the questions he asks is different. It's different than, you know, the norm is above the normal. And man, big ups, Will, for real. He gonna see this and he gonna trip out. He gonna be like, damn, look at my cousin, put me out there like that. Yeah, I put you out there like this. But I said, as he ran across my mind, he sent me a text. My text went off. I looked, and I texted him back, and I told him, I said, man, I was just about to record a video and mention you in the video. And I said, you gonna live a long, long time. And then he hit me back, and he like, we already know what it is, cuz. You know, with the little finger, with the little twist. And I sent him back a text. I said, in Jesus' name, with the prayer hands and with the little heart. But yeah, for real though. But Will, the reason why I mentioned Will, because I went by his house one day. We were just chilling, like not long after I had been home. And we just kicking, you know, hugged and all that. And chopped it up, you know, ran it about, you know, just he really was putting me up to speed with everything was going on, you know, how the world operates, you know, what's going on with the family, what's going on with him and his kids and stuff like that. So, and then I'm talking about shift the whole conversation. He said, so how you doing? And I'm like, man, I'm good. You know, I'm straight, you know, I'm rebuilding, you know, getting used to this, you know. And after I finished saying what I said, he said, so how you doing? Like, he like, you can miss me with all that, just trying to come off the top and just, you know, just give me something, man, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? How your mental health, how your mind, you know, everything, how you doing, bro? And, you know, we sat down and really ran it. And then he was just shaking his head like, I know, man. He like coming from, you know, where you came from, bro. Me knowing you, you know, we grew up together. I'm a couple of years older than him. He like, man, I know it. I'm like, man, for real, man. It wasn't nothing but the grace of God kept me, man. It kept my mind. Stuff I seen, man, the stuff I endured, the things I wanted to entertain that I couldn't entertain because of, you know, I wanted to get out of prison. So you had to humble yourself. Like I said, man, prison is a straight, all the way around the board, inhumane. It's inhumane, period. I mean, I understand that they got, you know, you got violators in the world that's just gonna just violate. That's what they do. Like, I met some guys that said that. They're like, man, I knew I was gonna end up in prison. The way I was living, the things I was doing, I knew I was gonna end up in here. And they were like, but you on the other hand, like, man. And I never foresaw that, you know, during those 21 years, man, from 2002 to 2023. Man, I was 15 days in when I made my 24th birthday. Never forget that, yep. And not only that, 24 days of me being in my daughter, my only child born, yep. 24 days after I was in, my daughter born. 15 days after I was in, I made 24 years old. So they kind of got some significance in that number 24. I'm gonna look into that. I made my 24th birthday 15 days in, and 24 days later she born. Anyway, yeah, that was a man. I'm talking about, you know, life altering, life changing experience, man. I mean, I had to grow up real fast. I was in an environment that I could say I wasn't prepared for, but looking at it, I mean, it was like I was prepared for it. Like I said, it was nothing but the grace of God that I was allowed to, you know, keep on keeping on while I was in there. And especially be transitioning while I was in there. Because I done seen, you know, met people that mind's trapped. Like, they got some guys I met, man, like from New Orleans, man. And I ain't singling out New Orleans. I'm just, there's some guys I met from New Orleans. And I'm talking about these dudes' minds stuck on whenever they can in prison. That's where their mind stuck at. I met guys that stuck in 1995. The 1995 New Orleans. 1995, 94, yeah, they talking about the old school cutlasses and Monte Carlos and Regals with the L-Tex in the back, you know, the 6x9s, yeah, the old punch amps and That's where they at. I mean, that's gonna basically come out some of their conversations. They're gonna be talking about the ballads and y'all know for those of y'all that know the styles, they're gonna be talking about the ballads and the 8-ball jackets and the medallions and yeah, bro, I remember I had, and they're always stuck in the past because they really wasn't have nothing to look forward to in their future. A lot of these dudes was hopeless. I don't want nothing to do with God. I don't hear nothing about no Jesus. You know what I'm saying? So they really was that's where they was at, bound and stuck. And I said, man, it was nothing but the grace of God that told me through that thing, for real. Nothing but grace. Straight up. And by the grace of God, all them years I did, I ain't get no write-ups. And people heard that and was like, man, you didn't get no write-ups? So they think everything was peaches and cream. I was all goody two-shoot. No, it was the grace of God. And I had fights and everything in there. Just didn't get caught. They had some things I did in there, like some prisons don't allow you to cut no hair. Popping them razors out the hole and all that, and cut hair with them, or line somebody with them. That's property destruction and aggravated disobedience. You can get a write-up easily for that. And I got caught, lining the dude up, and a lieutenant walked up on him. A whole rank. Like, man, give me the razor. And what I'm supposed to do? I'm like, man, you got me. And he said, look, by you being honest, you know what? He said, this one here on me. Next one on you. But I said that to say I could have got rolled up for that. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't like I was, abiding by all the rules. No. I blow it up and I smoked some weed in that thing. Believe that. And the people used to be having cups, urine cups. They come to the dome with the cups and, take their urine, their urine. You dirty, you go into the cell block. You go into the hole, But to beat the cups back then, what we used to do was to drink a whole bunch of water. And it was always somebody in the position that worked around the office or something around them people to know that they got them cups coming. So they'll just come scream to all the units, but they got some cups out there. I don't know where they're going at, what dome they're going at. So everybody that smoke, get on their water, get their quart containers, get on our water. So where you start, you pee out that dirty urine, you start peeing out water. And I used to beat the cups. But the whole thing about that was, man, you be peeing all night. And then the people might not even come to the dome. You peeing all night. That's cold better. But like I said, I ain't do everything. But just the grace of God. That's all I can brag on. Straight up. I can just brag on my Jesus. For real. Nothing else. So I just want to leave y'all that right quick. I've been long enough already. About 7 minutes, almost 8 minutes. But just embark upon this journey with me. I'm going to be, day by day, I'm just going to be sharing my experience with y'all straight up. But that mental health, like I said, mental health out here is serious, man. Look, being in that place, man, real serious, man. Just imagine you want to go off, somebody disrespect you. And you really feel like, fighting them or whatever, getting it in, but you got to hold your tongue. Because I want to get out of prison. And I don't know which avenue it's going to take for me to get out of prison. You know what I'm saying? The write-up might have killed me from getting out of prison. I got this write-up now. I got to wait years and years to go before this pardon or parole board, or everybody don't do all their time in prison. Some people get breaks like that through the pardon parole board. Some people file stuff in the courts and get granted relief like that. So you never know. And then you got some like time bombs and that just ready to go off at any given moment. Don't care. And you got to drive around. You got to maneuver around them dudes. Because they really be looking for a wreck, and it's easy. I've seen so many fights, so many jugging, so many people got whooped with locks. Man, people got set on fire. I'm talking about straight gas, That's another story. I'm gonna run it with y'all. I'm about to go now. I'm gonna leave y'all with that. I'm gonna finish these dishes. Snacking on me some chips. I'm gonna hide it later on. I love y'all in Jesus' name.